This is the second part of the Osix controller with your 90s, where I'm going to show you how I mounted the lights above the Frag tank. The next video is going to be about the PAR and spectrum measurements with a PAR-wise spectrum and light meter and with an apogee light meter. In this video I'm going to show you how I mounted the Orphek lights again. They are spaced at 3 inches. I put 2 lights in the front, 2 lights in the center and 3 inches apart, and 2 lights in the back 3 inches apart. The lights in the front are going to be 1 blue plus and 1 day plus. The lights in the center are going to be 1 blue sky and UV violet, and the lights in the back again 1 blue plus and 1 day plus. I wanted to have the lights in the front and the back shining towards the center of the tank. If you find this video useful, please hit like, hit subscribe. This is the beginning of a YouTube channel, so anything would be helpful. The lights are mounted on 24 inches pieces of plywood that fit my stand, and the violet and the blue sky lights in the middle, I wanted to test those to see which one would be better for as an accent light on my main display tank. Alright, now I'm going to speed it up for mounting of those brackets. I'm using 3/4 inch plywood, 3/4 inch screws to mount those brackets on. It's fairly easy, fairly straightforward. I took off the cable. I really like these zip ties that you're gonna see, because they have a lever and you can zip it and you can unzip it very easily. You see how you can just zip it on, and then you have that tiny lever and you can untie it without any problems, and it's very easy to tie cable to something and move them around if needed at any point in time. You see how the supports are mounted up there, and the next step would be to drive those nuts into the channels. You see I had a couple of challenges with those, but most of them got in fairly quickly, so I have them out there. I could put some foam to keep them in place when I put the lights up on the brackets, but I decided not to do that. I just decided to mount them the way they are and be a little bit careful on that side. Alright, and here's the mounting part. First attempt was to put the screws into those brackets and screw them into the nuts on the channels, and it was kind of difficult to do that. You're gonna see I tried to do that on the first 2 lights. It's very hard to squeeze the screwdriver in between the existing mounted brackets, because of the side screws are pretty deep. So I've done the first 2 lights this way, and then I decided to just take the side screws off and take the bottom side. See, I'm even trying with a light. It's quite difficult to do that. So I took all the bottom sides, I took the screws out, I took the bottom sides out, and to mount them on the lights off the brackets. You see the way I'm doing it right now. So it's easy to mount those screws on this way. Of course, in the process I dropped a couple of side screws, bracket screws in the tank below, but it happens. Just wash them and put them back. They're pretty much stainless steel, so I was actually trying to pick them up with a magnet from the tank. They're not gonna come up, so that's good news. So anyways, over here I'm mounting the side screws back, and I actually went and picked up a couple of wrenches. You can actually see I was looking for a screw back there. Picked up a couple of wrenches. They use 10mm wrenches if you're using metric. I might have mentioned before I like the metric system. A little bit less fractions and decimals to worry about, right? And you can see here I'm doing a final tightening on the screws on the lights. I had to leave those loose, and it's quite difficult to do that once the lights are on, because the screwdriver touches the side screws, and it's pretty difficult to tighten those screws down. It's could use a little bit of design improvement, but hey, it's all about the lights, and you only do this once, so not a big deal. As you can see, I also use the wrenches to tighten the side screws. I had to do that because just by tightening them by hand wasn't enough to hold the lights at a certain angle, and I wanted to have the back lights and the front lights at an angle to aim towards the center of the tank a little bit. You'll see a little bit later in the video the effect and why I had to do this. Alright, all the lights are mounted, they're fairly sturdy, and I'm starting to wire them up to the controller to connect the extensions to the controller. Channel 1, that's a day plus, and then we have a blue plus, then the one in the middle is a sky blue UV, and followed by a day plus and a blue plus. And you can see the back lights and the front lights are oriented towards the center of the tank a little bit at an angle. And you're gonna see by moving this light, the first light, the one to the front, you're gonna see how the light falls on the sandbag on the bottom below the frag tank. There you go. You can see dark and light. It's fairly easy to see that. And what I wanted to have these lights very high up, and the corals illuminated from both sides as much as possible. And because of the narrow angle of these lights, it was good practice to mount them at a distance in the front and back so they can light the corals from both sides. Don't forget to press a thumb up if you liked this video, if you find anything useful in it, and subscribe for the next video. I'm gonna use a Senai spectrum meter, and I'm gonna use an Apogee power meter to compare them and to see what power we're getting in this tank. I really like to get this tank ready to grow acros as well as softies if needed. This is Gabe again with Reef Canvas. Thank you for watching this video. See you next time.